Kudus to Spurs, Elanga to Newcastle, and Madueke to Arsenal. Which one is the best signing? Elanga, who was recently bought from Nottingham Forest by Newcastle, played 38 games last season with 31 starts, getting 17 goals and assists in the Premier League. Kudus, who was also bought for 55 million, was in 32 games and 31 starts, only getting 8 goals and assists. And lastly, Madueke, Arsenal, who was recently bought for 50 million from Chelsea, was in 32 games with 27 starts, 10 goals and assists. Who do I think is a better deal? I'm going to have to go with Elanga, Kudus and Madueke. Now, Elanga and Kudus can interchange at multiple points in the season. I think they're both going to be really good signings for their club. But I don't think Madueke will be. I just don't really see the point as to why they bought him, and I mentioned that on a previous video. I really do think Elanga and Kudus are really good signings for both teams. The reason I'm edging Elanga right now is because I just feel like he fits that Newcastle system to a T. Presses, he's one of the fastest players in the Premier League, and he seems to back it up with his ability as well. He doesn't seem to run around like a headless chicken. I feel like you can tell this is an Eddie Howe signing. They need backup because they're in Europe now. He rarely ever gets injured, which is another positive and exactly what Newcastle need. Lastly, he's only 23, and I don't know a single player in that Newcastle team that has come in that Eddie Howe hasn't improved. And the fact he's only 23, I mean, in a few years' time, if they do need to recoup a bit of money, I don't see his price dropping, which is really important for financial fair play nowadays. On to Mohammed Kudus, who I think is a brilliant player on the ball, but his end product is just not quite good enough. Admittedly, that might not be his fault. It could be because West Ham just didn't have a number 9 last season, so is he exactly going to pass the ball to? At that same time, Bowen is putting up incredible numbers. If Kudus is a player that Spurs fans seem to believe he is, why is he not performing to that same level? Because I am seeing a few Spurs fans who are really optimistic about this signing, and I think they should be. They shouldn't really be looking at it as, well, West Ham had a bad season, so that kind of writes off whatever Kudus done. Well, last season you guys had a bad season, and none of your players stepped up. I'm only speaking Premier League football right now, so Spurs fans don't get on to me. But none of your players stepped up. The whole point you're signing these players is so when you have a bad season, your new signings, for your 55 million signings, come into the team and they step up for you. I will say, I really do think Kudus is going to have a really good season at Spurs. I think Kudus playing with players, Maddison, Son, Solanke, Kulusevski, is only going to elevate his game. Kudus, very similar to Elanga, is also only 24. So he's still really young, and I think a lot of people forget that. So he has a lot of improvement to be doing himself. I think Frank will end up bringing the best out of him. When you look at how Frank played with Mbeumo and Wissa, I really can see him getting the best out of Kudus. With Kudus being so young, I feel like he's also one of them players that really backs himself and has a lot of confidence. So I actually think in 4 or 5 years' time, he'll probably see himself making another move. And with his age, it means Spurs won't be losing any money on this deal. And I'm sure Daniel Levy will be happy about that. Now, I've already made a video about the Madueke move. I just don't really see the need for him in the Arsenal team. I don't get why they're signing him. And for such a large fee, can't see him coming in to be Saka's backup. But he's going to come in and try to play on the left. It just doesn't make any sense to me. But the abuse he's getting from Arsenal fans is absolutely bang out of order, considering they're the club that is choosing to sign him. I think Arsenal fans also need to give their head a little wobble. They've put out a petition about signing Madueke, but none of them really seemed to say anything, and they all kept quiet when Thomas Partey was happily playing for their club, who has recently been charged with rape and sexual assault. A few Arsenal fans need to take a look in the mirror and get their priorities straight. But going back to it, as an overall, I'm ranking it Elanga, Kudus and Madueke, with Elanga and Kudus being a lot closer than Kudus and Madueke. I think both the deals are really good for different reasons. I think they both elevate their team, and I think the price they've come in for is roughly where they should be. I did think Elanga would be slightly cheaper, but the fact Kudus has gone for the same price and Elanga was putting up better numbers in the Nottingham Forest team, I think it's pretty fair because I don't see one miles better than the other. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Have I completely got this wrong? Let me know your thoughts. If you like this content, please like and subscribe. Catch you on the next one.